Are you a franchisor, whether early or established, looking for tips and tricks and fresh new ideas on taking your franchise company to the next level? I'm Angela Cote, and I call myself a franchise growth catalyst. I use my experience having grown up in the world of franchising, spending many years on the franchisor side of the franchise relationship, lots of time out in the field supporting franchisees, and then 18 years myself as a multi-unit franchisee. I'm super passionate about creating transformational impact to help franchise companies grow. If you are looking for ideas, we talk about anything from franchisee recruitment, how to find the best franchisees that are going to be the top performers in your brand, to how to support them to really optimize their output. We are more than open to hearing ideas and questions and suggestions. So reach out to me at angela@angelacote.com. Alrighty, let's get started with the Franchise Growth Catalyst podcast. Hello, Angela Cote here, and we're back for another episode of the Franchise Growth Catalyst podcast, the podcast where franchisors can find unconventional yet practical advice on how to improve franchisee profitability, create exponential growth, and of course, make franchising fun. Now, are you someone who hears everyone else talking about core values, but you don't really get what the fuss is all about? Maybe you just see it as fluff, because a lot of companies have core values sitting on a file somewhere, but not really being used. And maybe you'd rather focus on more tangible things like profit and loss statements and KPIs. Well, I've got news for you. You are probably already operating under a set of core values. You just haven't clearly defined them for others. Core values are the foundation of what makes your brand what it is. And it's something we take very seriously at AC Inc. So I thought it might be helpful for me to share a bit about how we determined our core values and a few ways that we use them. And in fact, we recently hosted a roundtable for franchisees of all different brands and small business owners. And it was really helpful to hear firsthand what the common roadblocks are around determining and breathing life into a company's core values. Before we start, I just want to clarify, we are not talking about the old school generic values like trust and integrity and respect. I'm not saying that those aren't good values to have, but I feel like a lot of people just don't know what else to say. So they come up with values like that, and that there might be something better that's more true to what they are. So they really need to be authentic and truly representative of how you roll. It's so important that they are authentic so that you can truly use them to attract the right employees, the right franchisees, the right supplier partners, and especially the right customer or clients so that you are aligned. Have you ever noticed that when you've got a customer or a client that is super aligned with your core values, that they are a lot more likely to be loyal to you and build that lifetime relationship with you? If you go to the About page at www.angelacote.com, you will see our core values there as an example of what I'm talking about. And I hope that you go take a look. I believe it will inspire you to think about this differently and stop thinking about this like a big challenging task that is difficult to figure out. They're on the About page. If you scroll down, you'll see there's 6 of them there. And when you roll your cursor over it, they'll flip around and show you what they exactly mean. And in fact, we recently worked together as a team at AC Inc. to make sure that they were accurate as to how we roll and to ensure that we weren't missing anything. So I'll give you an example of one of ours at AC Inc. and explain what I mean about alignment when I said that, when you've got customers and clients that are aligned. So one of ours is we get more done when we're having fun. And this stems from the fact that I've always been big on having fun. I mean, who isn't really? My dad in our family business was all about fun, did a lot of things to make it a fun environment and fun place to work or fun place to be a franchisee of. And I just knew that was really important to me. So we turn it into a bit more of a guiding principle. So we get more done when we're having fun, and we truly believe that our productivity is higher when we're having fun. So hopefully that resonated with you a little bit more than thinking about a core value of like integrity or something like that. Now, this is probably starting to make you think, well, that's nice, Angela, but I still don't know how to determine those core values. Some of them might be a little more obvious and some not so obvious. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a process right now that you could do just from a high level, and you can give it a try, check it out, and see how it helps you get clear on your core values. So what I highly recommend you do is that you start with a big brainstorming session with your team. Now, even if you only have like one other team member, or you don't even have a team member, maybe there's somebody in your network that really understands you and what you're doing, maybe a mentor or something, a friend, to rally to help you think this through. But if you've got a team, bring that team together. And the reason I say to do this is partly just for getting that other set of eyes, because I always believe in the collective wisdom of the group being higher than, one person alone, but partly also to boost the buy-in of the team to living the values. If they have say in creating them and recognizing what they are and helping define them, they're going to be a lot more likely to live and breathe them and to subscribe to them. So when you start to do this, whether that's on a big whiteboard or these days on Zoom, what I often do is I just pull up a spreadsheet in Google Sheets and I share my screen and I just start putting things all over the place. So it's sort of creative. Just get everybody to start sharing, what they see as things that are core to your culture. What are your culture deal breakers? Like I said, for us, having fun is a deal breaker. We won't work with somebody if they're too serious, because it just doesn't work for us. It won't end up working out. They'll end up unhappy, or we'll end up unhappy, and then nobody's going to be getting the results they're looking for. So when you're doing this, just think of the culture deal breakers. What's really important for you as a business and as a team that's helping you with being as successful and productive and profitable as you are. Now, don't hold back. Just when you're brainstorming, the golden rule is to just let it go, let it out, get it all out there. No bad ideas, because we want to get the creative juices flowing. And by getting it out there doesn't mean it's going to be a core value. We're not going to say, oh no, that's not one, or that's not true. Just get them all out there. And don't try to be fancy on the first draft. Just get the thought out, get the theme out, and know that you can polish it after. If you start getting sucked into thinking how you're going to say it, it's not going to have the same, it's not going to be as easy, and it's going to probably roadblock you a little bit. But start looking at these things that are being said, at these ideas, and start looking for truths and themes within these. And then once you get that, see if you can, sometimes you kind of end up combining something. So you had two ideas, but they're really kind of the same. So you combine them. Try to get it down to I like 3 to 6 core values. You can go more if you want, but the more you have, the more you've got to try to remember. So if you need more than 6, that's okay. But the less, the better, because then you can actually, live and breathe and remember them. So once you get those figured out, then start to write out what they mean. Again, first, not in a fancy way, just kind of explaining it. And then sit with them and just give it a bit of time and look back at them after, maybe a week or something, and see if everybody still feels good about them. And you might at that point then get another set of eyes on them. Somebody that's got a good eye for kind of writing and marketing, to maybe massage them a little bit and tweak the wording and really ensure that they sound impactful and true. Don't worry about the marketing of it to the point that it takes away the message, though. It's more important that you've got the right message than that you make it sound fancy. So now we've gone through some steps on how to determine your core values. Let's talk a little bit about how you can live and breathe them. There's lots of ways. This is only going to be just the tip of the iceberg I'm going to share, but just will hopefully get your wheels turning on some ways that you can start to live and breathe your core values if you're not doing that, and get you started. So first and foremost, I like the idea of putting it in your job description when you're putting it out to the world that you're hiring. Whether that's a job description that's going out on Indeed or some kind of platform like that, or on social media that, hey, we're hiring, we're looking for somebody who embodies these core values. you are going to have a way better chance of attracting the right people to come work on your team if you start with that. And not only that, but it really becomes a way to attract A players and people that are really paying attention. So starting with the job description, that's a great way. I also really love the idea of using the core values in the interview process. There's all kinds of ways you can do this. So I'm not going to go deep into this, but a couple of examples of ways you could do this is to start by asking the prospective employee or franchisee for that matter, what their core values are. You could maybe ask them in advance to think about what that is before they show up for the interview and give them a little bit of warning and say, like, we're not looking for you to sound fantastic and amazing. We just want to know your true core values because we want to see if we're aligned. And if we're aligned, there's a much better chance that everybody will have a fruitful working relationship. Another thing you can do is ask them which of our core values resonates the most with you. You could show them to them and get them to share that and maybe why they think that in the interview process. And then one more way in the interview process is to think of a way that they can help you know that they embody those core values. So maybe ask them to share an experience or something where they, something they've done in their life that would kind of prove that, yeah, those core values I'm definitely aligned with. Another thing you can do is use them in your performance reviews. So you can have them rank themselves on a scale of kind of 1 to 10 for how much they embody and live and breathe each of the core values. If you see an employee that's doing a good job of practicing the core values, maybe at some point you could point them out to the others and do a spotlight and say, hey, I noticed that Michael, embodied the value of getting more done when we're having fun by, lightening us up in the office the other day or something when we were all sort of feeling down or something. You could review them annually as a team. Actually, I highly recommend you do this to look back at them and get them, brought back to the surface and make sure that everything's on track. And because sometimes we do actually modify our core values. Just on a personal note, one of my core values I used to have was in my company was we do everything first class because I really like the idea of like not making mistakes. But one day I realized that really goes against the core value that I didn't have in the core values at the time of basically action equals growth. And that, it's better to do something than nothing. And that perfection, a different P word, perfection is the enemy of done. And I just actually embodied that core value because I made a slip up and I'm not going to edit it. So, but I had this one about doing everything first class. And I thought, wait a minute, like if I did everything first class, that would mean I didn't even do these podcasts because I'm not using like an expensive microphone or any kind of expensive technology. I'm not filtering out my ums. I'm trying not to say too many of them, but I'm really just trying to inspire other people to take action. So that core value had to go. And a few other core values have been tweaked and added in since then. So it's a good thing to review them annually, but to do it as a team is a great way to really embody them as a team and again, recreate that buy-in from everybody on the team. Next is sort of a bit more on the marketing side, but absolutely they should be on your website. They should be easy to find on your about page or even on your front page, your landing page, if that makes sense for you. You can put them all over social media. You could do a series. So like, one of our core values, and you'll see this actually if you go to any of my platforms that we've done, I think 3 so far, we're spreading it out. But, one of the core values is action equals growth. And then on the post, there's in the text, it explains what that means. So you can use social media, and then you can even add in, if you're someone who, agree or aligns with this core value, reach out to us to ... whether that's, inquire being a franchisee or inquire as what it's like to work here or become a customer or client, whatever it is, reach out to us for this because you align. And then one last idea I'll give you for living and breathing them is if say you're a business that wears a uniform or t-shirt or something like that, you could have, or even a ball cap, you could have each of your employees on your team and or franchisees for that matter, pick their favorite core value and have that put on their shirt or their tee or their ball cap or whatever they are wearing. You could even create other swag, other things that you give out to clients, or again, that your team wear, that have different core values on them. So hopefully that gives you some ideas for how to determine and then live and breathe your core values. If this got your wheels turning, but you still feel like you need a little bit of help getting going, reach out, because another one of our core values at AC Inc., as I sort of mentioned a minute ago, is action equals growth. And we're all about helping people take the steps forward that you need so that you can attract the right customers, the right team members, the right franchisees, and whatever you need so that you can grow exponentially. Hope to chat soon. Now go be awesome.